From smashed rackets to words you can't take back, these are the stories that show the shocking moments where tennis players crossed the line. Get comfortable, we're counting down the 7 worst disqualifications in tennis history, starting with Novak Djokovic at the 2020 US Open. Number 7. Novak Djokovic, US Open 2020. Our boy was playing with Pablo Carreno Busta in the round of 16, and things were getting intense. Djokovic had just lost his serve to go down to 6-5 in the first set. Frustrated, he hit a ball toward the back of the court. Not hard or anything, but it ended up hitting a line judge right in the throat. You could tell he didn't mean it. He rushed over to check on her, but she was clearly shaken up. And, well, rules are rules. After a long discussion with the umpire and the tournament referee, they decided to disqualify him. Just like that, the top seed and favorite to win the tournament was out. What's crazy is how strict the rules are. Even if it's unintentional, if a player hurts someone, they can be defaulted. Djokovic lost all the points he had earned and had to forfeit $250,000 in prize money. That was pretty harsh, but the officials said they had no choice. Safety comes first. This kind of thing doesn't happen often, but it's not unheard of. Something similar happened to Denis Shapovalov. David Nalbandian also got kicked out for injuring a line judge with an ad board. Djokovic apologized later on Instagram, but it was such a tough way to leave the tournament. Number 6. Alexander Zverev ATP Acapulco 2022. Next up, we have Alexander Zverev's meltdown at the ATP tournament in Acapulco last year. After losing a doubles match with his partner Marcelo Melo, Zverev completely lost it. He went up to the umpire's chair and smashed his racket against it multiple times, twice, and he came dangerously close to hitting the umpire. The ATP didn't waste any time. They kicked him out of the tournament for unsportsmanlike conduct. That meant that he couldn't defend his title or play his scheduled singles match against Peter Gojowczyk, who got a walkover to the quarters. Zverev later apologized, saying he regretted everything, and had even apologized privately to the umpire. He admitted there was no excuse for his behavior, and honestly, it sounded like he was genuinely sorry. It's crazy, though, because Zverev had just made history earlier that week by playing the latest match finish ever at 4:55 a.m. Maybe fatigue played a part? Even Novak Djokovic made a statement saying he understood the pressure players face but agreed the disqualification was fair. Andy Murray, on the other hand, was more direct, calling Zverev's actions dangerous and reckless. Number 5. Nick Kyrgios ATP Rome 2019. During his match against Casper Ruud at the 2019 Italian Open, Nick Kyrgios lost control and ended up getting disqualified. It all started when he got annoyed with people moving in the stands during his serve. He started complaining, first to the officials, then loudly to his team, and things just spiraled from there. First, he got a warning for smashing a ball, and then another for unsportsmanlike conduct. Then, on the third violation, he lost a game, and that's when he completely lost it. He threw his racket, kicked a water bottle, and then straight up hurled a chair onto the court. He shouted something about being done and stormed off as the officials announced his disqualification. The crowd, which had been cheering for him earlier, started booing like crazy. Of course, it didn't end there. Kyrgios had to forfeit his prize money, ranking points, and even pay a hefty €20,000 fine. Ruud, his opponent, said Kyrgios deserved a long suspension, but Federer thought the penalties were already enough. Federer even joked, what did he do, hurt a chair? Later, Kyrgios posted on Instagram apologizing and saying emotions got the better of him. But it was just another wild chapter in his career. I mean, this isn't his first rodeo. He has been fined and suspended before. Number 4. John McEnroe's Australian Open 1990. Every tennis fan out there knows John McEnroe, the legend with serious anger issues. Back in 1990 at the Australian Open, he had one of the wildest moments of his career. It was the only time he had ever gotten disqualified from a match, and honestly, it was classic McEnroe. He was playing Michael Pernfors in the 4th round and was the favorite to win, but things started going downhill when he got into it with a lineswoman over a call. The umpire gave him a warning for intimidation, which McEnroe didn't take well. Then he smashed his racket and boom, point penalty. The real kicker, he went off on the umpire with a full-on profanity-filled rant, including reportedly telling a supervisor to go F your mother. That was the final straw. He got disqualified right then and there. The funny thing is, McEnroe didn't even realize the rules had changed. Before the tournament, they reduced the number of code violations from 4 to 3 for a disqualification, and he had no clue. Later, he admitted he probably deserved to get kicked out of a match or two in his career, but didn't think that this was one of them. He even said something like, "It was 120 degrees out there, maybe cut me some slack?" McEnroe retired a couple of years later, but moments like this are why people still talk about him. Number 3. Michael Emer, ATP Lyon 2023. At number 3, we have Michael Emer's tantrum at the Lyon Open in 2023. He got disqualified during his match against Artur Fies after smashing his racket against the umpire's chair, not once but twice. The whole thing started over a call that Emer thought was wrong. So, on one point, he wanted the umpire, Rogerio Santos, to check the ball mark on the clay. You know how they always do that on clay courts, right? But Santos refused, saying he saw the ball hit the line. Emer was furious, like, "Why won't you check the mark that I'm pointing at? This never happens." Things got even worse when Fies broke Emer's serve on the next point to go up 6-5. That's when Emer completely lost it. He took his racket and slammed it into the base of the umpire's chair twice. The racket head literally snapped off. A tournament official came over and told him he was disqualified. To his credit, Emer handled the aftermath well. He walked over, shook Fies' hands, and congratulated him, but still, what a way to end a match. Number 2. Denis Shapovalov Davis Cup 2017. Denis Shapovalov had a big slip-up at the Davis Cup in 2017. He was just 17 at the time, and it's safe to say he learned a hard lesson that day. Canada was playing against Great Britain in a deciding match, and Shapovalov was up against Kyle Edmund. Things weren't going his way. He was already down 6-3, 6-4, 2-1, when frustration got the better of him. After losing his serve, Denis smacked the ball in anger, trying to hit it out of the court, but instead, it hit the umpire, Ernad Gabas, right in the eye. Everyone was stunned. Gabas had visible swelling and had to go to the hospital for a checkup. Since it's a major safety rule in tennis, Shapovalov was immediately disqualified, handing the win to Great Britain. To his credit, Denis owned up to it right away. He apologized to Gabas and later told reporters how ashamed and embarrassed he felt, saying it was behavior he would never repeat. He admitted that he had let his team down and his country, but he promised to learn from it. People were divided. Some thought it was a genuine accident, while others, like Britain's captain Leon Smith, said incidents like this are dangerous and need to be dealt with firmly. Number 1. Jeff Tarango, Wimbledon 1995. Jeff Tarango's infamous meltdown at Wimbledon is one of those stories you have to see to believe. Tarango, who wasn't exactly known for his calm demeanor, became the first player in Wimbledon history to disqualify himself during a match. He literally grabbed his bag and walked off the court mid-match against Alexander Morans. Here's how it all went down. Things got heated in the second set after Tarango argued over a serve that he thought was an ace, but was called out. Frustrated by the crowd's noise, he yelled, "Oh, shut up!" That earned him a warning for audible obscenity from the umpire, Bruno Riboud. Tarango wasn't having it and escalated things by calling Riboud the most corrupt official in the game. That got him a penalty for verbal abuse, and that's when Tarango decided he had had enough. He packed up and stormed off the court, leaving everyone stunned. But the drama didn't stop there. Tarango's wife, Benedict, later slapped Riboud in the face, claiming he needed to be taught a lesson. The fallout was massive. Tarango was fined over $60,000, suspended from 2 Grand Slam tournaments, and became the talk of Wimbledon. To this day, Tarango stands by his claims that the match was unfairly officiated, even hinting it might have been fixed. Which of these do you think was the most shocking? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for videos like this. See you next time!